and welcome to this week's Spotlight. This week, Screen Northants are joining us in the form of Becky Adams. Hello, Becky.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you very much.
Excellent. Now, it's fair to say that Screen Northants is a bit of a monster. It's an academy, it's an agency, it's film festivals, it's community. Tell me how it all started very briefly and, what your role is in it.
I'm one of the founding directors of Screen Northants. We are a bit of a monster. We do a lot of things, and that is because we feel that we want to have more film production going on in Northamptonshire. I'm from Northamptonshire, and I want to get more films made here. I want to make my own films here, but you also realise that to make my own films here, I need to develop talent here. I need to get other people to bring in films so that talent can get opportunities and not have to leave and go off to London after they've worked on my films. And so it's become a bit of a, as you say, kind of a huge monster about trying to turn Northamptonshire into the film capital of the UK. Let's aim big.
Tell us about the Academy.
Our Academy is for those that are 14 to 25 who have got an interest in getting into film. We make a feature film every year, and we offer places throughout pre-production and on the production itself, and we're kind of developing the post-production offer so that people can get that film set experience that you really need to get into the film industry in Northamptonshire without having to go off to London and work for free and all that kind of jazz. At the moment, we've, like I say, shot 3 feature films. So the Academy is in quite a new state. We're kind of working out what works best. So we've had lots of young people working quite different ways across films. So we just recommend that people get in touch with us, and we'll find out what's the best way to help you advance your career, really.
When you say you've made 3 feature films, are we talking full-length feature films? In which case, who writes them? Who directs them?
So the first film we shot is a modern-day version of Macbeth. It was adapted by a director who's based in London that I know from my previous life down there. It was crewed and cast from various places around the UK, obviously lots of people locally, but obviously bringing in talent as well from elsewhere. That was very dark and cold, and it's Macbeth, so it's pretty tragic. So after that, we decided we were going to do something a bit more lighthearted. We've done a kind of buddy movie set along the River Nen with a new young actor, so it was part unscripted. Then we have just shot in January, February, very lucky to get that in for coronavirus, a family comedy feature film called Fortune Cookies, which again is by a London-based writer, but had lots of local cast and crew in that. And that's kind of a complete opposite of Macbeth, fun, silly, set in the 90s. However, we do have a community programme which starts from as young as 10 and also goes over the young person age range. So there is opportunity basically from anyone from 10 to 100 to come along and experience a film in one way or another. The Academy is very much about trying to work alongside those in education to help them make the right decisions at that point in their life to make the best out of going into a career in the creative industries.
When you say get experience on a film set, do you mean location film set or an actual set?
A set in either way. So we've built sets for 2 of the feature films in improvised studio spaces. So we do that, but we also shoot out on location. So it's a bit of everything, really.
That's fine. And what skills would you say? Because an academy suggests obviously that you're teaching them and obviously they're getting really great experience. So what skill set do you think they're going to come away with after having been at your academy?
What the film industry really wants is people that know what the industry is like. They want people to know what going and working on a set is like so that they can drop this person in the middle of a set and know that they will know what their role is, know how to interact with people. So we look for, I suppose, instilling in the young people we work with the right work ethic. It doesn't matter if they don't know how to use a camera, it doesn't matter if they don't know how to do anything, as long as they've got the right attitude, because that's the biggest thing, turning up on time / early, being able to do the days, have the right attitude, then you will move on in the industry regardless of the basis of skills that you know.
And the great thing about it is, from looking at your website, which is brilliant, by the way, and it's screennorthants.co.uk. We'll put that in the strap. And also northamptonfilmfestival.co.uk as well. We'll put that in the details as well. But the agency, now you're also encouraging actors as well. So tell us about the agency.
we've kind of put ourselves out there as a bit of a concierge service for incoming productions. So Northamptonshire doesn't have a film office as such, so we kind of act like that. We work with the local authorities to help incoming productions and productions from students or people already in the county to find locations, to find crew and talent and stuff like that. So we try and get to know as many people as we can. We do have online databases of locations, cast and crew, but the biggest thing actually is getting to know those people so that we can personally recommend people, because that's what the film industry really likes.
Do you teach people how to get their first jobs in film and television and that sort of thing?
That's exactly it. So we have the point of the academy program and some of the kind of mentoring stuff we do is that they come along, they work on a project for us, and then hopefully we can signpost them onto other productions. So we've been able to put university students actually onto paid work. We make some kind of smaller TV productions as well that we've been able to get people on. And yeah, helping people get that foot in the door. And actually, we know that people, the film professionals that we've employed on our features, have then taken on some of the academy students, the young people, the apprentices, onto further jobs.
Oh, really? Is that right? So what have people gone on to do from the academy?
We've got one young lady that I'll talk about. So she came along and worked on Macbeth. It was the first time she'd really done that kind of film stuff and decided that was absolutely what she wanted to do. So she came back to us after going off to university to study film. She'd won an award for getting some work experience at the BBC in sparking. This is what she discovered she wanted to do while she was on Macbeth. She came back and worked as a trainee spark for the whole of the Fortune Cookies shoot, which was 5.5 weeks under our gaffer. And then we've organised for her to go on to some more jobs with that gaffer as a trainee.
So your agency doesn't just do actors, it does crew as well?
Yes. I mean, we are generally more focused on behind the camera than in front of the camera. All of our academy isn't about actors. Obviously, we engage new actors and we love doing that stuff, but the academy is about the behind the camera stuff. And generally, that's probably where our kind of focus is, getting people to understand the craft of making film.
Now, obviously, the film festival this year has been put on hold, but let's say it hadn't. Tell us about give us a little bit of the backstory of the film festival, and then tell us how people can get involved and the sorts of things you've done in the past.
We were basically, there was two things. We were very, very, very sick of all the negativity around Northampton. There's, our county council kind of collapsing, and the negativity around the dying of town centres that seems to be a little bit typified by Northampton, all that stuff. We're a bit sick of that. We thought, well, let's use film as a way to go, do you know what, there's loads of great stuff coming out of Northampton. We know that it's a really creative and cultural town, so that's why we did 2019, and it was just really well received. And actually we had a focus on young people, and we actually found that a lot of the young people actually weren't that negative at all. They just wanted to be shown what the opportunity potentially was. They were all thinking they had to leave Northamptonshire if they were going to do creative industry stuff. It was just kind of trying to show them the way that it wasn't that way. And so 2020, we called ourselves, the theme of this year was kind of a big deal, because we think, do you know what, if we don't believe that we're a big deal, no one will. Let's just celebrate all the great stuff that comes out of Northampton and the county. And actually, we have had all sorts of premieres and Q&As. We had some really big stuff lined up for this year, which hopefully will come back when we can reschedule 2020. We're all wanting to reschedule 2020.
Like what? Tell us some of the things you had rescheduled. Go on, give us a taster. Give us a taster.
Oh, I can't say, but there's some big stuff. We were talking about some Q&As from Hollywood and all sorts of things, all with links to Northamptonshire, because actually, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't talk about the fact they're from Northamptonshire, but actually we've got a ton of people working in the industry who are doing really exciting things, and they do want to share, and they came from here, and they might not shout about it necessarily, but everyone is really supportive of the next generation of talent. So we were really excited, and we were going to do a few more kind of masterclasses and a careers fair at the University of Northampton as well. So that will come back as well whenever we get to do it. We have the opportunity, because we're so close to all the big facilities houses, we're really close to London, but there's this big push for regional production. And actually, I feel like we can take advantage of these things. We don't have all the trades in Northamptonshire, so we've had to bring in certain kind of, for example, I don't think we have a huge amount of grips that live in Northampton because there isn't a huge amount of work. So we do have to bring in people from outside. But we have the opportunity to, if we can just bring enough productions to keep people ticking over. And, we're an hour from Pinewood, we're an hour from Elstree. You could probably do it in less if you drive recklessly to get to Warner Brothers. We're really in a great position with a lot of stuff that hasn't been seen on screens. So I think we've just got to work out a way to take advantage of that.
When the film festival comes up, how do people join and what do they need to do? And do they need to be always local to Northampton?
The film festival itself, you can enter a film up until the 1st of June, so not very long now. And they have to have some connection to Northamptonshire, but it's quite loose because at the end of the day, it's about being inclusive, not being exclusive, although we are exclusive as well. And equally, all the events are open generally to everybody. And a lot of the stuff, we've put a lot of films online, obviously, at the moment from the previous year because we can't actually physically hold a festival.
Right. Okay. And then the community section of your website. I mean, I'm interested in learning just a little bit more. Is the community just purely the film festival? Because it seems to be a lot more. You seem to do workshops and you seem to do other things like that. Tell us about
that. So we worked with disadvantaged young people from Northamptonshire, really differing disadvantages, excluded from mainstream education, kind of in trouble with the police, looked after children, those with learning disabilities, to use film as a way to increase transferable kind of life and work skills, and kind of local pride and confidence and raising aspirations. So they may not have, those young people might not have had a huge interest in film, but we use the production of film to go, do you know what? You can do anything you like with your life, actually, if you get the right kind of skills and attitude kind of underneath your belt. And we also work with adults as well. We've made kind of community films in Northampton where we've involved just anyone who wants to come to help us come up with ideas, shoot films as kind of ways to bring the community together, ways to talk about important issues, that kind of stuff. The community strand is about using film for the benefit of Northamptonshire, however that kind of comes up and the opportunities arise.
For somebody at entry level, what sort of things do you think the industry is looking for?
At the end of the day, film is about a lot of people, usually quite stressed people, quite different people, just coming together and trying to make something happen. So you can learn your camera skills, you can learn some of your design skills, but you've got to be someone that is going to be that team player, that is going to show up, that is going to show that you really want this, and just have the right attitude, and that will help you kind of go through the ranks. And I don't think there's necessarily a hugely prescriptive route to get in there, but people who are spending 15 hours a day somewhere, like people they know they can rely on, that they can do the job, and they're going to enjoy working with, because that's a blooming long time in the cold to make something happen.
Becky Adams from Screen Northants, thank you very much indeed, and thank you for being on Spotlight.